Hello and welcome back to this course. Today in this video we are going to discuss about the inheritance. Inheritance is an important pillar of OOP. It is a mechanism in Java by which one class is allowed to inherit the feature like fields, methods of another class. Inheritance supports reusability. When we want to create a new class and there exists a class that includes some features that we want, we can derive our new class from existing class. By doing this, we are reusing the fields method of the existing class. I hope you understand that I have explained. That you are reusing your code, you don't have to write one piece of code again and again. That's definitely not a good programming approach. You are just using a same code for a couple of times. So to reduce this, we use the inheritance, that we use the feature of the previous class in our child class. Now, points in inheritance. Now keep in your mind that there are two classes. One is superclass and one is subclass. The class whose features are inherited is known as superclass or base class or parent class. And what is subclass? The class that inherits the other class is known as subclass or derived class, extended class or child class. The subclass can add its own field and methods in addition to the parent fields and methods. You will better understand this concept in the diagram. Now here you can see I have a class with the name animal. Now in the animal I have two members, one is name and one is color. Let's suppose that. And I have created a child class of this class with the name dog. Now dog class has rights to access all the members of its parent class. Now in this child class I am going to create only one additional member, which is bark. It may be a method, it may be a variable. Name and the color in the dog class are coming from its parent class. We are not creating it again. In this way, we are reusing our previous code. So this is the biggest benefit of the inheritance, that we don't have to write a single code for a number of times. That's definitely consume more memory and more time. Also, the code become complex. So inheritance not only help us in reusability, but it also decrease the complexity of a code as well as saves our memory. So I hope you understand about the inheritance. Now important points in inheritance. A class has one and only one direct superclass. What that means? As in our previous slides, you can see that there is only one parent class. You cannot make two parent class of one child. A class has only one parent class. It does not have more than one parent class. This is one of the most important points in inheritance in Java. Now, a subclass inherits all the members, but constructors are not members, so they are not inherited by the subclasses. But the constructor of the superclass can be invoked from this subclass. Now, all the members of the parent class are inherited in the child class, but constructors are not inherited. But you can invoke the constructor of the superclass from the subclass. You will better understand when we will learn about the constructor chaining. In that topic, you will see how we invoke the constructor of the superclass. Now the third point, a subclass does not inherit the private members of its parent class. Now if the member of the parent class is private, then the private members are not inherited in the child class. The child class cannot access the private member of its parent class. So these are some important points in inheritance. Now look at its syntax. First of all, when you want to create the child class, you type the class keyword, then you have to type the name of the child class, then you have to use the extends keyword, and then you have to put the parent class name that you want to extend this parent class, and then in the body of the class you have to write your statements. This is the basic syntax of a class. Now there are basically three types of inheritance in Java: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. But in other programming languages there are two additional inheritance, that is multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance. Java does not support multiple inheritance and hybrid inheritance. In multiple inheritance, a child class has two parent classes, but in Java you cannot extend more than one class. So that's why we have three types of inheritance in Java: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, and hierarchical inheritance. For this video, we are going to focus on the single inheritance. So let's create a program in our NetBeans so we have better understanding about the inheritance. So first of all, here I am going to create a class animal, and in the body of this class I am going to create some member functions. I type here string name, string color, just two. Now I am going to create the constructor for this class. I type here animal, and name is equals to, you can say, name of animal, and color equals to color of animal, just for an example. Now I am going to create some instance member functions here. I type here void get name. I am just going to print a statement here, system.out.println, and here I type the name of animal goes here. I am going to create another instance function here. I type void get color, system.out.println, color of animal goes here. So okay, I have created a class with two member variables, string name and string color, and two instance functions, get name and get color, in which just I am printing the one statement. Now I am going to apply the inheritance here. I am going to create another class here. I type class dog that extends animal. Now I am going to do nothing here. I just go in my public class inheritance, and in main function I am going to create object of class dog. I type here dog d1 equals to new dog. Okay, so there is nothing right now in the dog class. I type here d1 dot. When I press dot here, you can see now I am able to access all the functions present in the parent class. I type here get color, d1 dot get name, and now I am going to run this program. You will see two lines on the screen as we have written in the parent class. So in this way inheritance works. You see, I have just created the parent class, and within the parent class I have created some member instance variables and functions. Then I have created the child class. I have typed nothing in the child class, but when I create the object of the child class, I am able to access all the members of the parent class. Now notice one more thing here. When I press d1 dot, you see I have also access to the variables of that class, of the parent class basically. Now when I go to the parent class and make these private here, private and private, and now when I press d1 dot, now you see I have don't access to that members. I cannot access the private members of the parent class. You can only access the public and the protected members of the parent class. So in this way the inheritance works. Now you can add some additional fields in your child class, like I type here void bark, type here system dot out dot println dog is barking. I type here d1 dot bark. Now when I run this program, you will see three lines on this screen. So in this way you can apply your inheritance. You see how inheritance is important in programming. We have just created the parent class and one child class, and when I create the object of the child class, then I am able to access all the members of the parent class except the private members of the parent class. So this is just a very simple example. In next video, we are going to discuss about the multi-level and hierarchical inheritance. And in that video, we are going to create a full-fledged program that implements the inheritance. So that's it for this video. If you feel any problem, then don't hesitate to ask me a message. I will definitely help you. So see you in next video. Hello and welcome back. In this previous video, we are discussing about the inheritance. I want to tell you one more thing here, that you can also call the constructor of the parent class in the child class. Like I am going to type here in the parent class, I'm going to pass the parameters in the uh, parent class constructor. I type here string n and string c for color and change it here with name, sorry, n, and here with the c. Okay, so now I'm going to create the constructor of the child class. I type here dog, and now I'm going to type here super. Now I'm going to pass it through the string, so I type here line, and in second parameter I pass an argument. I pass basically the orange, you can say orange, and here I change the statement and type name concatenation name, and here color and color. So now if I run this program, you see color is orange and name is line. In this way you can also call the constructor of the parent class in your child class. I hope you understand. Now in this presentation you can see the multi-level inheritance. The first one is P, which is the parent class, and you have a middle class in between parent class and child class, that is intermediate subclass. A parent has child class and the child class has further child class, which is called the multi-level inheritance, and the middle one class is called the intermediate subclass. Parent class, intermediate subclass, and then child class. So let's create a program for multi-level inheritance in our NetBeans. So here first of all I am going to create a class with the name electronics. I type here class electronics. Just for an example I am creating this class, and in this class I am going to type the instance variables. So I type here, now this time I am going to create all the instance variables private. So I type here private string name and private int price. Okay, I have two instance variables in my first class, which is the parent class with the name electronics. Now I am going to create a getters and setters for these variables. So I type here void set name string name and this dot name equals to name and string get name return name and void set price int price. This dot price equals to price and int get price and return price here. So I have created the getters and setters for my instance variables in this class. Now if you are confused with this thing here, then don't get confused with that. We will just cover these this and super in our next video. Now this thing basically denotes that the name which is present in this class. We will definitely cover this in our next video. So now I have created the getters and setters for my two instance variables here. Now I am going to create a child class of the electronic class. So I type here class fans. Now fans is basically electronic device. So I type here fans extends electronics. Now definitely fans extends electronics, and that's make a sense here. So now I am going to create one additional instance variable here. I type here private string airspeed. Just for an example, airspeed. This is the instance variable here. Now I am going to create the getter and setter for this variable. I type here void set air speed and string airspeed, and this dot airspeed is equal to air speed, and string get air speed return air speed. Now I have created one additional variable in the child class, that is airspeed. Now in the next class I am going to extend the fans class. So I type here class, you can say water fan extends fan, and water fan extend fans also make a sense here. So in this class I am going to create one additional variable here. You can create anything here, like I type here private string. You can type anything here. I type here just like water capacity, just anything here. Now I'm also going to create the getter and setter for this instance variable here. So I type void set water capacity, and I type here string water capacity, and this dot water capacity equals to water capacity. Now I'm going to create the getter here, get water capacity. I'm just going to return water capacity. Okay, so I have created basically three classes here. The first one is parent class, that is electronics, in which I have created the two instance variables and getter and setters. And the variables are names and the price, just simple. Then I have created the child class fans that extends electronics, and in that class I have created one additional instance variable, that is airspeed, and again the getter and setter for the airspeed. Then I have created the child class of the fans class, which is water class, and that extends the fans class. And in this class I have created one additional variable, that is water capacity of that fan. The water fan class has access to all the members of its parent class. What is parent class here? Fans class. The water fans can access all the members of the fans class, but not the private members here. And then the fans class has ability to get all the members of the its parent class but not the private members. So water fan has access to both the fans class and the electronic class. So let's create a object of water class in our main function. So I type here water fan f1 equals to new water fan. I have just created the object of the water fan here. And now I'm going to take the input from the user to set the all things of the fan. So I type here system dot out dot println enter name of fan. Okay. Now I'm going to use the scanner class here scanner s1 equals to new scanner and system dot in. Now I'm going to import the scanner class here and then string name equals to s1 dot next, and I'm going to copy this code and paste it here and change here enter price of fan and s2 s2. Also I'm going to change it with next int and the name with the price here, and also change data type, that is int. Okay, so I'm going to paste it once again and type here enter airspeed and s3. Now airspeed is also an integer variable. I change it with int here, basically int and int. Also change it with int. Okay, so next int and also change it with the fan speed. Okay, now I'm going to paste it once again here and type here enter water capacity and s4. This is also an integer here, so I type here capacity, also change its data type from int and also change it here. This is also an integer variable, so int and int. Okay, I have already created the object of the water fan class here, and now I am going to pass all these values to the members. Now I type here f1. Now keep in your mind that we have only created two methods in our water fan class, and we are allowed to access all the members of its parent class. So when I type here f1 f1 dot, now I can access all the members of its parent class. First of all, I'm going to set the name dot set name and type here name, and then f1 dot set price, then f1 dot set airspeed, then f1 dot set water capacity. So in this way you can apply the inheritance, make your code more easier and more comfortable. You don't have to write one thing again and again. I hope you understand. Now I'm going to print all these values on the screen. So I type here system dot out dot println. First of all is name. I use the f1 dot get name. Okay, I'm going to correct it here. Now I'm going to copy this line and paste it 3 times here. I change here price, f1 dot get price. Now I have to access the air speed, so I type here get air speed, and then the water capacity, get water capacity. Okay, so when I run this program, you see a message enter name of the fan. I type here Royal. Enter the price. I type here 500. Enter airspeed. I type here 60. water capacity 10 liter, and you see all the values on your screen. This is a very simple example. The purpose of creating this example is just to make you understand that how inheritance basically works. You can create child class from the parent class, and then you can access all the members of the parent class. In this way you can reuse the previous code in your child class. So this is the power of the inheritance that you have to apply in your projects and in your codes. I hope you understand about the multi-level inheritance. In next video, we will discuss about the hierarchical inheritance. So that's it for this video. I will see you in next video. Hello and welcome back to this course. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the hierarchical inheritance. So you can see the figure of the hierarchical inheritance on your screen. We have one parent class and there are three child classes that are extending the parent class. So this is the hierarchical inheritance. So let's create our example program for hierarchical inheritance to understand its concept. So here first of all I am going to create a class with the name person. I type here person for an example. And now I am going to create some instance variable here. So I type here private string name and private int age. Now I am going to create getter and setters for this class. So I just right click here and click on the insert code getters. I select the both and click on generate. Then I am going to insert code for the setters and click on generate. Now I have getters and setters for my first class here. You can see get name, get age, and set name and set age. Now I am going to create the child class here that extends the person class. So I type here class student that extends person class. Student extends person. That's make a sense here. Student is definitely a person. And now I am going to create some instance variable for student here. I type here int fees. And also I type here double CGPA. Now I am going to create the getter and setters for these variables here. So I right click here and click on insert code, then getters. I generate the code for getters here, then again insert code for setters. So select both and click on generate. Now I have another class that extends the person class, in which I have four instance functions: get fees, get CGPA, set fees, and set CGPA. Now I am going to create another class teacher that extends person class. Here I am going to create the instance variable here. I type here private int salary. A teacher may get a salary from here. And then I'm going to create getter and setter for this here. I select the insert code, getters, generate, insert code for the setter, click on generate. Now I have two classes, teacher and student, and both classes are extending the person class. One parent class and two child classes. This is what we call the hierarchical inheritance. You can create another class here like class employee that extends the person. In this way, one parent class and three child classes. So this is what we call the hierarchical inheritance. A parent class has multiple child classes. Now you can see that in the person class, I have just created the two variables, name and age. And definitely a student has a name and an age. And for teacher, that has also name and age. But a student cannot have a salary variable. So student has fees and CGPA, but for teacher, teacher don't have fees and CGPA, teacher has salary. So when you create the object of the teacher class, then you can use the name, age and salary, because the teacher can access name and age from its parent class. And when you create the object of the student class, then you can access the name, age from the parent class, and the fees and the CGPA variables are already present in that class. So here I am going to create two objects. First of all, student s1 equals to new student. Okay, so I just type here s1 dot set name, and I type here my name here, and then s1 dot set age 22, and s1 dot set fees, I type here 40,000, and then s1 dot set CGPA, for me it's 3.57. okay, so I want to print these values on my screen, so I type here system.out.println s1 dot get name. I'm going to copy this line from here and paste it a couple of times here. s1 dot get age, s1 dot get fees, s1 dot get CGPA. So I'm going to remove this line and also CGPA. Okay, when I run this program, you see the four things on the screen that I have set in my main function. You see that when I have created the object of the student class, then I can easily access the members of the parent class. I can access the name and age, and I can use it in my class. And for the teacher class, I can definitely use name and age, and then I can use the additional member of the teacher, that is salary, to do my work. So here I am going to create the object of the teacher class. So I type here teacher t1 equals to new teacher and t1 dot get. And now you can see I can access name, age, salary. Now name and age functions are coming from the parent class, and the get salary is present in the teacher class. So now here you cannot access the fees and CGPA because you have extend the person class, you don't have extend the student class. So in this way you can extend one class for a couple of times to do your work. So for here I'm going to select here get set name. I type here Peter, and t1 dot set age, I type here 45, and t1 dot set salary, I type here 10,000. okay, so now if I want to print it, I type here system dot out dot println t1 dot get name. I'm going to copy this statement and paste it once again here and change it to age and this thing to salary. And now if I run this program, you will see first of all the record of the student, and then you see the record of the teacher here. So in this way the hierarchical inheritance works. You can create more than one child class of a parent class in hierarchical inheritance. As you can see here, I have first of all created the parent class person. Now a person may be a student, A person may be a teacher, a person may be a employee there, a person may be a, you can say, sweeper there, or anything there. So in this way, you can create just one class and then you can extend it multiple times to do your work more easier. So I hope you understand the concept of the inheritance and how inheritance works and how it is helpful for us. We can just make our code more easier. We can make our code less complex. We can reuse one code for a couple of times, and there are a lot more features of inheritance. So I hope you understand about it. That's it for this video. I will see you in next video. Hello and welcome back to this course. Today in this video we are going to learn about the polymorphism. Polymorphism in Java is a concept by which we can perform a single action in different ways. Polymorphism means many forms. There are two types of polymorphism in Java: static polymorphism and dynamic polymorphism. Static polymorphism, also known as compile time polymorphism, and dynamic polymorphism, also known as runtime polymorphism. First of all, static or compile time polymorphism. Polymorphism that is resolved during compile time is known as static polymorphism. Method overloading is an example of compile time polymorphism. Now, what is method overloading? Method overloading allows us to have more than one method have the same name if the parameters of the methods are different in number, different sequence, different data types of parameters. Now in this video, we are only going to focus on the compile time or static polymorphism, and in that we will learn about the method overloading, in which the parameters of the method are different in numbers, different in sequence, and data types of the parameters are different. So let's discuss about this polymorphism in our NetBeans. Now here I am going to create a class with the name calculator. So type here class calculator. Now in the body of this class, I am going to create an instance function here. So I type here void add, and in the parameter I type int a comma int b. Now in the parameter of this function I have two variables, int a and int b, and I'm going to print here system dot out dot print ln addition and concatenate it a plus b. This is a very simple function that will print the sum of the two numbers that we pass through arguments from our main function. Okay, so now I am going to create a method with the same name, but this time we will follow the strategy. We will increase the numbers of the parameters of this function. I type here void add int a comma int b, and now you will see an error. What is the error? Method add is already defined in the class calculator. So now we are going to overload this function. I type another parameter here. I type here int c. Now in this way, we have overloaded the add function. We have changed the amount of the parameters in that function. Now this time there are three parameters in this function. Again, I am going to type a simple statement in it. I type here system dot out dot print ln, and again addition, and concatenate a plus b plus c. Okay, so we have one method that we have overloaded. Now again I am going to create a function. I type here void add. Now this time I am going to change the data types of the variables in the parameter. I type here double a and int b. Now simply I am going to print this on my screen. So I type here system dot out dot print ln addition and a plus b. Okay, And now we have a method that we have overloaded in two different ways. We have increased the numbers of the parameters in the function, and second time we change the data type of the variables in the parameter. And now the third time I am going to change the sequence of the variables. So I type here void add, and this time I type here int a and double b. Okay, so in this body of this function I type system.out.println addition a plus b. Okay, so see, we have one method add that we have overloaded in this class. We have 4 overloaded versions of add in our class. So now I am going to create the object of the class calculator in my main function. I type here calculator c1 equals to new calculator. Okay, so we have created the object of the class calculator. Now if I type here c1 dot, now you can see that we have add function in 4 different versions. We can use any one of them to add our numbers. For example, for this time I am going to choose the first one, that is double a and int b. In that I pass the first value double, I type here 5.5, and the second one will be integer, so I type here 20. Okay, so when I run this program you will see this message on the screen. Okay, we are getting wrong answer because 5.5 and 20. There must be error in our code. So you can see that we have used the double and integer, this one. Okay, here we have to wrap a plus b in the parentheses. It is just concatenating a and b with our string. So I wrap all of these in the parentheses so that it does not concatenate our variable values with our string. We want to print the a plus b value. Okay, so now if I run this program, you will see 25.5 on the screen. That is the expected answer. Again I am going to call c1 dot. Now again you can see we have add methods with the 4 versions. We can use any one of them. This time I'm going to use the last one. I'm going to pass the 3 integer values here. I pass any one. And now if I run this program, you will see the expected answer on the screen. You can use all the methods that you want. Like this time I use the third one. I pass 2 integer values, and when I run this program you will see the answer on the screen. So this is the method overloading. You are overloading the method in different ways. I repeat it once again. You can overload methods in 3 ways. You can change the amount of the parameters in the function, you can change the data types of the variables in the parameters, or you can change the sequence of the variables in the parameters. So in this way you can overload a function. And this overloading function is an example of static polymorphism or compile time polymorphism. I hope you understand about this technique, that how we can use our static polymorphism and function overloading. In our next video, we will discuss about a dynamic polymorphism. So that's it for this video. If you feel any problem while understanding polymorphism or any other topic, you can definitely ask me a question or message me. I will definitely help you. So I will see you in next video. Hello and welcome back to this course. Today in this video we are going to discuss about the dynamic polymorphism. Dynamic polymorphism is a process in which a call to a overridden method is resolved at runtime. That's why it is called runtime polymorphism. Method overriding is an example of runtime polymorphism. In our previous video we have discussed about the static polymorphism, in which polymorphism is resolved at compile time. Now in this type of polymorphism, the polymorphism is resolved at runtime. That's why we call it runtime polymorphism. The method overriding is the best example of runtime polymorphism. Now what is method overriding? Declaring a method in the subclass which is already present in the parent class is known as method overriding. You will better understand this concept when we will discuss about in our NetBeans through coding. So let's code a program for method overriding or dynamic polymorphism in our NetBeans. Now here, just for an example, I am going to create a class with the name animal. I type a class animal, and in the body of this class I am going to create one instance method. So I type here void eat, and in the body of this function I am just going to print one statement. I type here system.out.println all animals eat something, you can say it like that. This is a parent class basically. Now I have created a method eat in my parent class animal. Now I am going to create a child class of this animal class. I type here class line, which extends animal. And this thing makes some sense here because definitely lines can extend the animal because line is an animal. Now I am going to override this method in my child class. Before that, I am going to type an annotation here. I type here at override, means I am going to override some method in my child class. And after that I type the name of the method which I am going to override. I type here void eat. This means that we are going to override this method, and this method is present in its parent class. Now in this I am going to type a statement here, system.out.println lines eat meat. Okay. Now I am going to create one more class here that extends animal. I type here class cow extends animal, and again I am going to override the method eat. I type here override and void eat. I type here system.out.println cow eats grass. Okay. Now I am going to create one more class here. I type class cat extends animal. I type here override and void eat, and in the body of this I type system.out.println. I type here cat drinks milk. Okay. Now I have one parent class and three child classes that are overriding the method of the parent class. Parent class had method eat, and all the child classes also have method eat. Now I am going to create one more class here. I type here class, and I type here unknown animal extends animal. Just for example, I type here unknown animal, and in the body of this class I am not going to override the method eat. I will leave this class as it is. So in my main function I am going to create the reference of the parent class. I type here animal A. I leave it as it is. Now I have a reference variable of animal type. Now here I am going to type A equals to new. I type here line. Okay. Now the parent class can definitely holds the address of its child class. Now if I type here a dot eat and run this program, and we see a message line eat meat, and this is the expected result. Now here I am going to again a equals to new cow and a dot eat. And now if I run this program, you will see two different messages on the screen. Lion eats meat and cow eats grass. Now you can see that I have just created the object of the child class, and it is definitely going to access the function of the child class which we have override in that class. Now in our fourth class, which is I think unknown animal, that is not overriding the function which is eat. Okay, I'm going to create the object of this class. A equals to new unknown animal. Okay, now if I type here a dot, so why I am getting the eat? Now when I run this program, you will see all animals eat something here. Definitely this is coming through the inheritance. But notice that in previous we create the object like that. If I want to access the eat method in the cow class, I type here cow c equals to new cow like this. But here we just created the reference of the parent class, and we are able to access all the methods in the child class by creating the object of its child class. I have just created one reference here, and with the help of this reference I am going to access all the methods in different child classes. You can see a.eat, a.eat, a.eat. How it is differentiating each classes. This is the power of polymorphism. Here polymorphism is working. You have just created the reference of the parent class, and in that reference you are storing the object of the lion class, you are storing the object of the cow class, and you use the same reference to access its methods like a.eat. I hope you understand. Now let's get into polymorphism in more detail. Now if I go to my cow class and type here void, you can say color, for example. I type a simple statement here, system.out.print ln color of cow. Okay, so when I go to my main function and just below this, I'm going to type a dot, and you can see that I cannot access the color function through the reference of the parent class. Now this is the polymorphism. You can only access the methods that are overridden in the child class. This is what we call the polymorphism. I hope you understand that how polymorphism works. You see that I have created a method in my cow class with the name color, and now with the reference of the parent class I cannot access that method. I can access only those methods that are overridden in the child classes. Now the animal class has the method eat, and its child class cow is overriding that method. And with the reference of the animal class I can access the method in the child class that we have overridden. But I can only access the methods that are overridden in the child class. I cannot access the other methods in the child class. So this is the polymorphism. It is very helpful in some cases. So I hope you understand about that. If you feel any problem, you can definitely message me or ask me a question. I will help you. So that's it for this video. I will see you in next video. Hello and welcome back to this course. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the abstract classes. A class which contains the abstract keyword in its declaration is known as abstract class. Abstract class may or may not contain abstract methods. Now we will discuss about the abstract methods in our next class, in which we learn about the abstract methods in detail. Now remember these points about the abstract classes. If a class has at least one abstract method, then that class must be declared abstract. Now if we have declared our abstract method in our class, then we have to make that class abstract. If a class is declared abstract, then it cannot be instantiated. means we cannot create object of the abstract class. To use an abstract class, you have to inherit it from another class, provide implementations to the abstract methods in it. Now, if you want to use that abstract class, then you have to inherit that class with the other class so that you can use all the features of that class in your child class. If you inherit an abstract class, you have to provide implementation to all abstract methods in it. Now, if you have extends the abstract class, then you must have to define all its method in your child class. So let's discuss about all these points in our NetBeans. So here in NetBeans, first of all, I am going to create the abstract class. So first of all, here I type abstract class and I type here person. Now I have created this abstract class. I am going to create one example function in this class. I type here void example system out dot println. This is abstract class. Okay, so now I have created the abstract class. Now in my main function, if I type here person p equals to new person and I got an error on the screen. You can see the error. Person is abstract, cannot be instantiated, means we cannot create the object of the abstract class. If we want to use the abstract class, then we must have to apply the inheritance. For an instance, I type here class test and it extends person. Now if I create object of the test class here, test t is equal to new test, I type here t dot example, and now if I run this program, you can see this is the abstract class. I can use the methods of the abstract class by using the inheritance. I can inherit that class with another class so that I can use all its methods. So you can see how we can create the abstract class and how we can use the methods of the abstract class. Now the methods inside the abstract may or may not be abstract. Now you can see this is not the abstract method. We will definitely discuss about the abstract methods in our next video specifically. Now you may got a question in your mind that why we are using the abstract class. I will give you answer of this question, then we will discuss about the abstract methods, and in our third video in which we will discuss about the abstraction, you will have better understanding that why we are using the abstract classes and what is the benefit of using the abstract classes. I will definitely let you know that why we create the abstract classes and how abstract classes are helpful in Java basically. And definitely when we will discuss about the abstraction, we will create a full-fledged program that implements the abstract classes, abstract methods, and the abstraction, which is the pillar of the OOP. So I hope you understand that how we can create the abstract class and how we can use the members of that class in our program. I repeat it once again. The abstract class is created by the abstract keyword. The methods inside the abstract class may or may not be abstract. Now, if the methods in the abstract class are abstract, then you must have to implement that method in your child class. In this case, the method inside the abstract class is not the abstract, so that's why we are not basically overriding this method in our child class. So in our next video, we will discuss about the abstract methods, and you have better understanding that why we are using the abstract methods and the classes in our abstraction video. So I will see you in next video. Hello and welcome back to this course. Today in this video, we are going to discuss about the abstraction. Abstraction is the pillar of the OOP. Now, abstraction is a process of hiding the implementation details from the user. Only the functionality will be displayed to the user. To achieve abstraction in Java, we use abstract classes and interface. Now we will discuss about the interface in our next video. For this video, we are going to use the abstraction by using the abstract classes. So without wasting our time, let's discuss about the abstraction in our NetBeans and write our code for abstraction. So here first of all in NetBeans, I am going to create the class here, class person. And in this class, I am going to create some members. So I type here string name, and that variable should be private string name and private int age. Okay, so I am going to create the constructor for this class. I type here insert code and constructor for both ones, generate, and also the getters and the setters. So getters and also setters. Okay, and now I am going to make this class abstract here. I type here abstract class person. Okay, now I am going to create the child class of the class person. So I type here class student extends person. Okay, there is an error. Okay, we have to create the constructor first here. So I type here student and string name int age and super name and age. So I have created the constructor of the student class. Now the student class can use all the methods and the members of the person class. And now here I am going to create the instance variable. So I type here private int fee and also int fee, and this dot fee equals to fee. Okay, so I am going to create the getters and setters. So I click on the insert code and getter for fee and setter for fee. Okay, so now I am going to create another class here with the name teacher. I type here class teacher extends person, and in this class I am going to create one instance member variable. I type here private int salary, and constructor I type here teacher string name int age and int salary, super name and age, and this dot salary is equal to salary. Okay, now I am going to create the getters and setters for this class. So I right click and go to the insert code and getter for salary and setter for salary. Okay, so now you can see that I have three classes: person, student, and teacher. The first class is abstract, and the other two classes are extending the person class. You can see that. Now if I go to my main function and type here, you know that we cannot create the object of the abstract class. In this way, we are hiding our some data from the user. No one can create the object of the person class. For example, this is a school system in which have student or teacher. Now the user is only concerned with the student or teacher. He does not concern with the person class. So creating the person class does not make any sense also. So user can only create the object of the teacher class or student class. He cannot create the object of the abstract class person. So I type here student s1 equals to new student, and in the constructor I pass name John and age should be, you can say, 15, and fee you can say 2000. Okay, so I call s1 dot get age, s1 dot get name, and s1 dot get fee. Okay, so I want to print it on my screen. I type here system dot out dot println, and also for the others I type here system dot out dot println. Okay, so now if I run this program, you will see the expected answer on the screen. So now what are you doing in this program? You have created the one class abstract, which is a person. You are hiding some data from the user. Now you can also hide your complete implementation from the user and provide only access to the user through the child class. You can also do it in that way. But for this example, I have created the class abstract, which is the person. So no one can create the object of the class person. Now the user can only make the object of the student class or the teacher class. He cannot make the object of the person class, and creating the object of the person class does not make any sense here. The user is only concerned with the student or the teacher. So in this way, we are hiding some data from the user, which is the person. This is also known as the abstraction. I hope you are understanding how abstraction is working here. This is just a little example about the abstraction. We can also apply the abstraction by using the interface, and we will discuss about the interface in our next video, and also you have better understanding that how interface is helpful in abstraction. So I hope you are understanding that we are just hiding our some data from the user by creating the abstract classes. As you have read in the slide that we can get the abstraction by using the abstract classes and the interface. This is the program that is using the abstract class. I summarize it once again that you cannot instantiate or create the object of the person class, and in this way you are hiding your data, that no one can access your data because he cannot instantiate that class. If we want to use this data, then we must have to use the inheritance, and we can create the object of the child class, and child class can access the members of the parent class, which is the abstract class. In this way we are using the abstraction in our program. So I hope you understand about the abstraction. If you feel any problem, then definitely you can ask me a question. So that's it for this video. In our next video we are going to discuss about the interface. So I will see you in next video.